Hey, what is going on, people? This is the Tenchi, and I'm back for another TMNT Rant Rave review on this week's episode entitled The Pulverizer. So it starts out with the Krang trying to figure out where their power cell was. Now, if you remember what the power cell was, it was this crystal power source, this crystallized power source that Leatherhead had stolen from the Krang on his debut episode. So they're trying to figure out where it is. Lo and behold, it's actually being used as a fuel source for Donnie's latest creation, dubbed the Shell Razor by Mikey. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, "Oh my God, what the heck is this? What the heck is this? This is like here is the debut of this show's version of the Turtle Van, and I have to say, it is crazy. It looks like a tank from the inside. Outside, it's a converted subway car, and it's got everything in it. The only thing that it's missing is a pizza launcher from the original Party Wagon, because it looks like they took a lot of cues from that, and it just looked awesome. Yes, I know it's probably a ploy to sell a new toy, but we got the Turtle Van for this, okay? Shoot. Can't get any cooler than that. So, continuing with the story. So, they decide to go joyriding. And they stumble upon the Purple Dragons stealing more tech, right? When they're about to go stop them, a shadowy figure comes up. Starts up with some banter, right? And pretty good lines, like, you didn't pay, like, he's like, you didn't pay for that. But that's okay. I accept cash, credit, and teeth. So you think this guy is going to just go all out on him, right? No, he has no skill whatsoever. He calls himself the Pulverizer. He looks like a classic, he looks like a classic example of a fanboy that's just gone right, and that's just gone out, slapped on a costume, and decided to just do everything Vigilante style. But he's way over his head because he has no idea what he's doing. He has no martial arts skill. He doesn't even attempt to hit anybody. Well, he tries, but it's pretty laughable. I mean, his heart's in the right place, but yeah, still. And also, they took, if you look at his suit, they took some cues from the classic series, because he's got a belt with a letter moniker on it, and it in his headband and everything looks like a Halloween costume, except it's homemade and it's made out of rubber. So after that, it's like after he introduces himself as the Pulverizer, and the turtles are all excited to see him work, but like I said before, he lands no punches. He has no skill. So they jump in to save him, and he kind of botches up the rescue, so to speak. It looks like they're doing a pretty good job on the Purple Dragons, but the Pulverizer kind of interrupts it. And then after he tells the turtles where he how he knows them and where he's seen them from, they see this flashback of when they first encountered Baxter Stockman, and they ended up fighting each other on the roof. He said, "You inspired me to become a hero." Right? Now, I have to give him credit, because there are people out there that actually do this. There are people out there that actually do this, and if you don't believe me, there's documentaries on it. There's a TV show about it. Stan Lee has an entire show dedicated to it. This actually could be real, except for the fact that this guy has no skill and no weapons to speak of. He just slapped on a costume and decided to go fight crime one day. So like I said before, his heart is in the right place, but he's just doing it all wrong. So when they try to basically say, man, you're way over your head, leave us alone, he gets kind of stuck. His headband gets stuck in the door of the Shell Razor, and he ends up in the turtle's lair. He goes total turtle fanatic on the layer, touching everything, messing up everything, and and trying to show off, even though he has no, like I said before, has no skill. Sorry if I seem to be repeating myself. And when the turtles decipher what is going on, because the purple dragons have been stealing Krang tech, they're like, who could be using this? Oh, Baxter Stockman. So they go out. So 3 turtles, Raphael, Leonardo, and Michelangelo, they go off to stop Baxter, while Donatello is stuck with the pulverizer. Pulverizer tries to, is basically, like I said, he's fanboying out, and Donatello saying, okay, if you're gonna do that, you gotta do it. You gotta do it right. You can't just hide a sword under your pillow and wake up one day and decide you're a samurai. You need help. You need practice. And he's like, no, screw that. I want to be a hero right now. See, that's a classic case of someone that doesn't want to work for what they want to do. If you want to do this, you have to, number 1, you have to know what you're doing. Number 2, you got to be safe. And number 3, you really gotta think about it. You don't just go out and do everything like out of the whim, because that's dangerous. You just don't do this on the fly. You can't without any practice. So what does Donatello do? He decides to make the pulverizer kind of his pupil, okay? And they do a short little montage of him trying to train him, and pulverizer just not acting a fool, but just acting like like the funny class clown, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny, I mean, because the Turtles got a fan now. I mean, it's kind of reminiscent to one of the classic episodes. There was an episode back in the day where the Turtles found out they did have a fan, except the kid was much younger, and he had a Ninja Turtle suit, and by then everybody already knew who the Turtles were. In this case, this guy is just he's just trying to live a dream, and so alright, so enough of that. So they end up finding Baxter Stockman, and he's like, yeah, let him, just let him come, let him see what I'm working with, right? And it's Zever. He finally figured out how to get those robotic legs to work by using the Krang's tech. And also, it's pretty cool. I was wondering how they were gonna solve the whole being a fish on land thing, being basically a fish out of water. They have a tank, a water tank hooked up to his back, and 2 water tubes on the sides of his head. So so he can get the water through the tubes, and the tank is his supply. So I think that's pretty cool. And the legs allow him to basically, move around and fight and everything. And plus, he is a skilled fighter. So there is a very entertaining fight scene. While this is going down, one of the turtles, I'm not going to say who, ends up getting bit, and lo and behold, Zever has has venom in his, running through his veins now. So it's like, okay, one of the turtles are in danger. One of the other turtles are trying to defend, trying to fight him off, and and Donnie is got his hand full with the pulverizer, because after Splinter discovers what's going on, he basically, at first, he's like, okay, this guy's a moron. That's the thing about this version of the Splinter. If he's got something on his mind, he's a nice guy. He's a very zen guy, but at the same time, he's not afraid to express what's on his mind. If he thinks something's moronic, he's gonna say it, and he's gonna have you thinking about it. And it's crazy. There's a high-speed chase involved. There's the Krang involved after something happening with the crystal's power supply. There's Zever fighting the turtles, and there is it's just this story has got to be it's very funny. First off, you got the fanboy element, you got the chase scene, you got the lasers, you got the Krang chasing after the turtles. You pretty much got a lot of stuff in this story. Really, I give this probably as a whole, I give this about an 8.8. 8.8, almost a 9. It's a very and to watch Donatello actually have a pupil for a minute. It's really, I don't know. It's different because he's never done that before, and you actually see how skilled Donatello is. And also, after saving one of his brothers from the venom poisoning, the way he is mixing chemicals and whatnot, very smart. Tries to take his time, and this review's running a little too long. But you know what? Whatever. Let me know what y'all think of this new episode. What do you think of the Shell Razor? What do you think of the new version of the Turtle Van? Or do you miss the old school Party Wagon? I could deal with it either way. I was also reminded of the 2003 series where they had like sort of a tank going on, and really, now trying to get the power cell and the Krang out of the way of the power cell and all this stuff. I mean, you had all these elements in one story. This is pretty cool. What do you think of Zever's new skills with the legs? What do you think of it? Well, his name, Michelangelo dubbed him what was it, Fish Face and or Robocarp, but I'm just gonna call him Zever. But what do you think of Zever? What do you think of the new ride? What do you think of this fanboy, the Pulverizer? Do you want to see him in future episodes? Just making a mess of things. And what did you think what do you think of the episode as a whole? Let me know in the comments below. All right. I am Elder Tenchi, and I will see you next episode. Peace, love, never be normal.